Okay, my name is Taylor Phillips. This is my YouTube video for my lesson plan about sound waves in math. I don't have a printer at my house. I have to print everything off at my church. So I am using my phone with my lesson plan on it. So I'm going to have that instead of a piece of paper. And my target audience is towards elementary school kids. Okay. Here goes nothing. Okay, this is the beginning of class. Just going to act like I'm a teacher and you're a student. Okay. I have to prepare. Get in character. Okay. Good morning, class. Today we're going to be doing a basketball game. That is something that you probably don't do normally in class, but today we're going to get warmed up, we're going to get stretched for a basketball game. So I need everybody to stand up out of their seats, and we're going to stretch. We're going to stretch, just stretch out all those muscles. Go over with your arm and stretch it out. Do anything you need to. Stretch your legs. Get those. Do some high knees. Get your back stretched out. Just do anything you need to warm up for this basketball game, okay? So, once you're all stretched out, we're going to pick up our basketball. But instead of us using an actual basketball, we're going to use our voices as a basketball. Okay. So, with people who sing, they do vocal warm-ups, and there's one called dribble. So with your basketball, that's actually your voice, you're going to dribble. Does anybody know how to dribble a basketball? Okay, so pretend you're dribbling, which is just doing this. And we're going to do a chant. And it starts out dribble left, dribble right, dribble left, dribble right, pick it up, plant your feet, and then we're going to throw the basketball. But when we throw it, since we're using a voice for our basketball, we have to throw it up, and that's a woo! You start out really high with your voice, and as the basketball goes down, you get lower with your voice, and then eventually we're going to swish the basketball into the goal because it goes down into the goal. So, does everybody understand? We're going to do this in 3, 2, 1. Dribble left, dribble right, dribble left, dribble right, pick it up, plant your feet, and woo! Swish. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. Try to go higher with your voice and lower with your voice and really listen to the highs and the lows of what our voices are doing. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Dribble left, dribble right, dribble left, dribble right, pick it up, plant your feet, and woo! Swish. Okay, good job. You can sit down now. So raise your hand if you like to listen to music and different sounds. Raise your hand. Can someone tell me what their favorite sound is? Now, raise your hand if you like to do math. Did you guys know that there's a lot of math in sound? So first we're going to talk about what sound is. What even is sound? Sound is little teeny tiny dots that we can't even see called molecules bouncing around back and forth in the air. So I want you to raise your hand if you've ever played with a slinky before. Anybody play with a slinky? Sound waves, even though we can't see them, look kind of like a slinky when you play with them. It bounces back and forth between different things, and that creates a noise that we hear with our ears. Now, we need to talk about how our ears even hear these little sounds that we can't even see. Sound travels through the air, and it's traveling through the air, and when it finds our ears, the sound goes into a teeny tiny tunnel in our ears called ear canals, which goes to our eardrums. Then, kind of like a text message, if you've ever seen anybody type a text message, the eardrum sends the sound wave over to teeny tiny little bones in our ears that start vibrating. This is where it gets really cool, you guys. The bones then send sound waves over to a little sac that has water in it in our ears. And the sounds ride across this water like a surfboard. Has anybody ever seen anybody on a surfboard or surfing at the beach or anywhere that there's water? Has anybody ever seen a surfer? The sound travels a little bit more through teeny tiny places in our ears, and then another text message happens. Teeny tiny pieces of hair on the inside of our ears sends a text message to our brain that we're hearing a sound and we want to know what that sound is. Our brain texts back, okay, and tells us what sound we're hearing. How cool is that? Can someone raise their hand and tell me how fast they think all of that happens? All of it happens in less than half of 1 second. You guys are probably thinking, what does any of that have to do with math? Math is a bunch of numbers. You know how our voices started out really high and went really low when we were throwing our basketballs? The way that that happens is by some big, crazy word that we're not going to need to know yet, but it's called frequency. All that means is that when the little dots in the air I told you about go really, really fast, a really high sound is made, like when we first threw our basketball. When the dots in the air that bounce around go really slow, a slow sound is made, like when our basketball was at the very end and we were about to switch. Looking at numbers and math can help us understand this because we can see it and it uses things that we can understand to get what sound is and what the sound waves are. Think of numbers 1 through 10. If the number 1 had a sound, it would be really, really low, like 1. But then you think of the number 10, and if it had a sound, it would be really, really high, like 10. As we go from really low as 1 to really high as 10, it gets a little bit higher each number we go up. And these big frequencies always have really, really big numbers to measure them. When you get older and you learn about this, these numbers can go up to like 200 and 300. And imagine if 10 is really, really high, how much higher pitch these sounds get. It's crazy. So, we're going to do a little activity about the numbers 1 through 10 like I just showed you so you can see and you can figure out what all of that means. So, I need you all to get in groups of 10. Each group is going to be given a number 1 through 10. So, you'll either get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. With the people in your group, you're going to decide what your number that you get sounds like. Is it a low noise like 1? Is it a middle noise like 5? Is it a high noise like 10? Or is it somewhere in between? You guys have to talk to each other and figure out what your number sounds like. And you will get about 1 to 2 minutes to do that. So get in your groups and figure that out. Okay, now that you have all of your numbers figured out, come to the front, starting with number 1, and show us what your numbers sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They all did it. Now, just for fun, we're going to all make the sound of our numbers at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Yay! Okay, now everybody sit back down and get all your jitters out, shake out your fun and exciting crazies that you just had because you made so much noise and it was fun. But now we're going to talk about what we learned. So, can someone raise their hand and explain to me what sound is? Can you all point to the part of our body that hears the sound? Our ears. Can someone raise their hand and tell me where somewhere, just one place, that the sound goes in our ears? And finally, can someone raise their hand and tell me how numbers go with sound? And if you want to, you can give the class an example. Okay. That's it. And it's right at 10 minutes right now. Thank you. And that's all.